one of the things that fascinated Nostradamus was he had a 13-sign zodiac. We have a 12-sign zodiac in our world today. And this 13th sign was between Sagittarius and Scorpio. It was called Ophiuchus.
Ophiuchus is called the secret sign, and it's noteworthy that it is the 13th one, the unluckiest number according to numerology. Ophiuchus, a Greek term meaning serpent holder, is clearly depicted on the front of the church, some say, and also in the Lost Book. It is this constellation and its position in the sky that holds a critical clue about the last days.
Ophiuchus crosses the celestial equator just at the point where the center of the galaxy meets the celestial equator. Now, in Nostradamus' day, they had no idea that there was such a thing as a galaxy, much less that there was a center of the galaxy. But all of these end-of-the-world prophecies, all of these connections with Judgment Day and the Apocalypse and so forth, are all connected with a certain alignment. And that alignment is when the sun tends to fall into Ophiuchus, into the gap in between Scorpio and Sagittarius.
It is in this very gap, in the area between Scorpio and Sagittarius, known as the Dark Rift, that the center of the Milky Way galaxy is located. The Great Alignment will occur when the sun rises in perfect alignment with the center of the galaxy.
If you look at the zodiac and the four corners of the zodiac, there's something very interesting about its configuration in heavens. This is the Milky Way. It crosses two places only on the ecliptic, here and here. And you'll notice that it's right next to the eagle. In fact, it's a very important place because this, the Milky Way, actually does in fact appear like a serpent. This is its mouth, its eye, and the tail is going into its mouth. And the eagle appears right over its head. This is galactic central point. We're looking at the galaxy that we're in at a very shallow angle, on edge. And this is where the center of the galaxy is. And this always is there on this ecliptic point. It doesn't move along here, neither does this side. It's always fixed here. The only thing that moves is our perspective as we move through here when we look at the sun. We're just going around the sun, and we're sighting the sun through the zodiac through every year. And this is basically where the eagle would appear, crossed by the galaxy in two places. Then it becomes very significant then if we actually sight it during one of the cardinal points of our year, say an equinox or a solstice. In fact, it's so significant that you'll actually, if you understand this, go back into history, you'll be able to mark this point in time here that takes. It's actually a quaternary point through the precession that lasts 25,920 years. Divide it in four places, it'll actually equal 6,480 years. You'll find that if you go back from now, 6,480 years, you're ending up in the place where historians peg civilization actually has, having been born, almost out of nothing. Go back another 6,480 years, you'll end up in every time with a configuration that looks like this. Geologists actually mark that year of two quaternary precessions with the division between the Pleistocene and the Holocene, where there was a massive global die-off. This is what this looks like. When you reach the point of the precession, where you're at that middle place, where the sun's rising in the center of the galaxy. This is how the ecliptics align to it. And this will occur one day out of the whole year, but when this is aligned to one of our equinoxes or solstices, it takes on extreme significance because you have all the symbols connect at the same time. Here you have the primordial mound that the Egyptians were talking about, the nest of fire that the phoenix is born from, the sun rising in the nest, activating it, the center of the galaxy, and the ecliptic running through here. And if this is aligned with a solstice or an equinox, all the points are matching, because what it means is we've moved through a quarter of the precession, and big things happen then.